right, it is 10 a.m. Call to order the license variance meeting March 27th of 2024. That sounds kind of loud, sorry. I'm Bo Jones, Director of Water and Sewer Utilities. I'm filling in for Richard Garland, the chair today. To my left, I have Miss Mary Moore, the Library Director, and Andrea Worthy, Director of Economic Development. Excuse me. We have 3 items on the agenda. I'll have to call them out in order, being this is a public hearing. And item A, formal business, variance request V24-016, reduce the front setback from 50 feet to 25 feet. Land lot 485 located at 1076 Concord Road. David Butler is applicant. Request to table this item to the April 10th. License variance board meeting at the request of the applicant. Make a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion moved and seconded. Please vote.
Not working for me. Mine is.
Working. A little technical difficulties, y'all. All right, item passes 3-0 to table. Item A, formal business. Next item on the agenda is item B, V24-017. Also to be tabled, this is a public hearing for variance request V24-017, reduce the required parking spaces from 23 spaces to 9 spaces. Land lot 485 located at 1076 Concord Road. David Butler is applicant. Request to table this item.
So moved. Second.
Please vote. All right, item passes 3-0 to table this item. All right, now we move on to the actual business at hand here. Item C, variance request V24-018 to reduce the front setback from 35 feet to 31 feet, located or land lot 453, located at 986 Oak View Drive. Nick Vincent is applicant. Mrs. Crow's here to give the background. Mrs. Crow.
Hey there, good morning. Caitlin Crow, Planner 1 Community Development. So as you mentioned, this is variance V24-018 to reduce the front setback from 35 feet to 31 feet. So this property is over on Oak View Drive and is fully surrounded by single-family houses. So this applicant is looking to fully renovate the existing home. This will include a 790 square foot addition in the rear, a 312 square foot deck in the rear, and then a 300 square foot carport to the side. As part of this addition, they will also be adding a front porch. There is an existing stoop on the property, but the front porch will allow for a little bit more access during inclement weather, as well as some aesthetically pleasing looks to the front facade. With all of these renovations, the property is actually also being brought up to the R15 minimum floor area requirement. The existing house is only 960 square feet. After all of these improvements, it'll be almost 2,500 square feet. So it is going to be brought further into code as well. So as I mentioned, this existing property does have that uncovered porch. With this front addition, they are going to be encroaching into that front setback by just a couple feet. However, these variances have been approved in similar properties nearby. I'm actually just up the road at 961 Oakview and 976 Oakview in 2005 and 2012 respectively. Thus, there is a precedent for these types of variances currently. So after review of the application, staff is supportive of the request and recommends approval with the standard condition. Approval of the requested variance is conditioned upon the development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan and elevations submitted with the variance application. And I can answer any questions.
Board, no questions?
Right.
And engineering has looked at this, Caitlin?
So they did not actually look at this application as there is no mitigation plan required. They are under the required 35% impervious surface area. It is my understanding, though, that engineering has been involved in this, but it did not specifically look at the front setback reduction.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right,
Right,
thank
so-
you.
Any further questions for Caitlin? Applicant here, I suppose?
Absolutely. I thought I was going to have to do that, so thank you for
No,
doing all
no, she
that
does
for
a good
me.
job. She does an excellent job.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
basically,
please, just state your name.
Yeah,
It's a
Nick
public
Vincent.
hearing, and address for the record.
This is 986 Oakview Drive. We're just trying to do the front porch reduction from 35 to 31. It will be aesthetically pleasing. We will have gutters, downspouts, and pop-up drains in the front yard so we can push that water towards the street. And it shouldn't have any issues in terms of drainage or et cetera.
Yeah, this is pretty cut and dry. Do you have anything to add to the additional information that Caitlin shared with us today?
Not really. She did a killer job.
She
so.
does awesome. She does.
Besides, my framers are waiting on me to whether we're doing it or not right now. So,
Okay.
yeah. Any questions for me?
No, you do understand the standard conditions,
I do.
stipulations?
Yeah, it's all, we have architectural, full set of plans, full site plan, full survey. We're going to follow it to the T.
Okay.
As we have on previous builds. So,
All right, thank you, Nick. Board have any questions for Mr. Vincent?
beautiful. Thank you for your
Okay,
time.
thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right, this is a public hearing. If anyone wishes to speak for or against this item, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Cindy Jordan. My address is 996 Oakview Drive, Smyrna, Georgia, 30080. Okay.
Could you step a little closer to the mic? Yeah, a little closer, I'm sorry.
All right.
Ours is too loud and that was not loud
Okay.
enough, so-
Okay. Do I need to repeat that again? Okay. All right. So I'm not against it. I'm actually for the development. The house is next to mine on Oakview Drive. But I do want to voice a concern, which I've already spoken to him about. And my concern is about the flood water runoff of the rain, because Oakview Drive is a downward sloping street. And I noticed when they started working, I started getting more water into my basement. So when me and Mr. Vincent and his partner had a meeting, we discussed some of these things. They did tell me that they were going to put up gutters on the property. They were going to grade the property. It was my understanding that the water was some water would be sent to the back of the property, some would be sent to the front of the property. My question became that once the water moves into those areas, where would the water go? Would it flow downhill? Would it flow to the house below them? How much additional flooding is going to cause for the neighbors? So I'm just here to say that they should have an adequate flood water, rainwater plan to move the water to the street. I'm saying that because when we were there having our discussion, they mentioned in that the best plan would be to move the water to the street so it will flow down to where the city has their flood management area at. But I never heard anything from them about moving the water to the street. So this is why I'm here, to try to say, hey, can the city ensure that an adequate and appropriate plan is in place to move the water to the street so it doesn't become a nuisance to the neighbors, it doesn't become an environmental issue for us to have additional flood?
Well, and I will add, that this board is here just to vote on the actual 35 feet to 31 feet, reduce the setback.
Right.
Engineers didn't deem that any mitigation needed to be done. So again,
Right.
this board and body is just here just to vote on the actual setback.
Right,
Okay?
right, I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand. That actually is an area that has caused a lot of flooding for my house, which I pointed out to them. And I didn't hear anything from them about how this change in flow water and this change that they're wanting to put in place is they're going to mediate the situation and not send more water to my property. So this is why I'm bringing it up now, because everything that they talked to me about was about the rear of the property, and a lot of flooding was happening in this specific area that they're requesting the zoning for.
Right, and again, we're only here to vote on the
Right, I
setback.
understand, I
So, and I
understand.
appreciate,
Yeah, I understand, I just wanted to have my say.
correct.
Thank you
I
so
got
much
you.
for that.
Absolutely.
And I want to encourage the city. And I see we have a community development director here. And I've already spoken to the city engineer about this problem as well. So I wanted to also bring it to the group. Because again, I am not against them approving the property. That is a very good thing.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All
Thank
right.
you. Anybody else have anything for or against being at this public meeting?
I can be
You
seated.
can have a seat, yes, ma'am. All right. So I entertain a motion for variance request V 24-018.
I motion to approve V 24-018, a variance request to reduce the front setback from 35 feet to 31 feet in land lot 453 at 986 Oakview Drive. Nick Vinson, applicant.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded, please vote. Item passes 3-0. All right, moving on to approval of minutes, MIN 2024-040, approval of March 13th, 2024 License Variance Board meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved and seconded, please vote. Motion passes 3-0. If there's no other business or staff comment, this meeting is adjourned at 10:12 a.m. Thank you.